In accordance with the new Act 44, which is a security briefing that the Security Department is required to provide to the school board once a year, we had an exec session to go over a security overview as well as things that are going on in the district related to security and security personnel. Any announcements?
School may have just ended, but we are only 69 days from the start of the 2019-2020 school year. We'll see students back on August 26, 2019.
Seniors, sign up now for one of the Future Planning Center's summer workshops. Workshops range from acing the interview to conquering the Common App. Visit the high school website for more information.
Great, thank you. Public to be heard on agenda items only. Okay, we have a presentation this evening, our annual update from our Future Planning Center. Ms. Benner and Ms. Sussman.
Okay. All right. Will this clicker work then? Oh, there it is, almost right there. Okay, great. All right. Well, thank you for having us tonight. We really do enjoy putting this slideshow together for you guys. It's a really nice way to just wrap up the year, and the students make it easy for us because they make us look really good every year. They are doing some outstanding things, so I'm excited to share some of the stuff we have going on. So the first thing I just want to go over is what we're going to talk about. We're going to start out with what happened this year, talk a little bit about the result of this year, and then what was new this year. So we've been really lucky with our events that I've had Mrs. Sussman with me, and we've both been here. This is actually, I'm finishing up my last round with all of the house principals, so I've been with each house principal, and we've been able to really adapt our programming to fit the needs of the students and add some new things each year. So this year we did do a few new things, so you'll see in the items that are starred up there are new things that we've added. So in October we added a new school for an instant decision day. So if you're not familiar, instant decision days are when schools come out and they give our students an admission decision on the spot. So it takes a little bit of organizing on our end, but it's really nice when the kids can get that exciting news in person. We also in November added on a career field trip to Johnson & Johnson. I was blown away by that field trip. It was so cool and hands-on. The students had the opportunity to walk around on the manufacturing floor and see how different medical devices were made. So if they're interested more in that 2-year track, it really kind of fit their interests. Or even the 4-year level, they talked about different ways you could move up on the manufacturing floor. But then we went across the street and they actually did a little bit of engineering themselves. They were designing a plate for wrist fractures, and they got to work alongside engineers, and that was a really cool experience for them. So we're hoping to do more things like that this upcoming year. You also see up there that we had a counselor in the workplace experience. So during one of the in-service days, we helped set up a connection with 2 different construction companies, Clover Construction and Worth Construction, and we sent all of our counselors out to see what it's like in the workplace, and they really came back with some great feedback about how amazing it is to see these different opportunities that they have. A lot of times there's some stigmas that go along with the trades, so it's a nice way to sort of break those stigmas and get our counselors seeing what it's like in action. We also did a Thaddeus Stevens field trip where we brought students out to see the campus. That was also in February. It's a little cold, but the kids really liked it, and we actually had some students enroll after that, so that was exciting. In March, we followed that up with Manufest, another field trip, so we've been getting students out of the building. So for Manufest, students were going to the Oaks Expo Center, and there were, I think it was somewhere around 80 different manufacturers who were there, who were looking to hire students. So we had a couple students get job offers or interview offers there. They were kind of excited when they came back with us. And we also had some sophomores and juniors who just had a better idea of what's actually out there. Montgomery County is actually one of the largest manufacturing counties in the state. So it was cool to see all of that in action. We also did a field trip to the Pottstown campus of Montgomery County Community College in March. So again, piggybacking on that career focus. So for that, our students got to go out and get this micro-credential with them where they were learning some workplace skills that they could actually write on their resume. And by attending that field trip, they got a pretty large stipend to be able to continue on with one of the workplace programs in Montgomery County Community College. So if you're not familiar with the workplace programs, they are 6-month and 9-month programs where students are getting hands-on job skills. And they said that the biggest problem they have with those programs is that they get hired before they finish the program. So that's kind of cool too. So we actually had 2 students this year who took advantage of moving on into that workplace program, and they got their full program covered. We had another student who decided to go on for the massage therapy program, and that program is a little bit more expensive, so that one was only partially covered, but still pretty exciting stuff for our students. We did ASVAB interpretations this year, so our students who took the test actually sat down with someone to review how that connects them with a career. We got a lot of great feedback from that. And then the other new things that we have are going on in the summer. You heard last year we added those workshops. They were very successful, so we're continuing with the workshops. We've added the self-reporting application day. Many of you may have heard that colleges are moving to having students self-report their transcripts, and that's a scary process for a student. They get really nervous about getting everything right, so that's a day where they can come in, we'll print out their transcript with them and sit alongside them as they fill that part out, make sure they're doing it correctly. So I think you're pretty familiar with the other events that we do, so I'm not going to hit on any of the other ones. If you do have any questions, of course, you can ask. We did have 108 college reps visit this fall. So that's on par with what we've had in the past. That does not include our college fairs. So that's one-on-one visits where the reps come out and sit down and talk to our students. So we do have a lot of action with that. Decision Day is always a huge success. It keeps getting bigger and bigger every year. This year was really fun. Our students picked the theme Up, Adventures Out There. So if you want to check out some of the pictures from Decision Day, Erin has put those up on SmugMug so you can see sort of what the theme looked like. But the students had a lot of fun with decorating balloons, saying where they were headed. They took a lot of celebratory pictures with families. There was a lot of snacking going on, lots of donuts. And then we even had special prizes for career-bound students to sort of encourage them to get out here. So that was a huge success, I think. And testing, we're always doing a lot of testing. So you can see our numbers are pretty much on par with last year as far as how many students were testing. We did add on that August test date, and it's very popular with our students. They're testing the weekend before they come back to school, and our numbers, that's pretty much capped because I can't get a whole lot of people who want to come into Proctor the test at that time of year, but we're working on that. So we gave out a lot of tests, and you can see our AP numbers went up this year for the new number of students tested and also the number of tests taken. So our students are really taking advantage of every opportunity that's here. We had our students apply to 347 different colleges. We sent out 2,365 transcripts. And keep in mind that our biggest schools are self-reporting now. So these are ones we sent out before we sent out the final transcripts. And so Pitt, Penn State, and Temple are all doing the self-reporting. So that's not included in that number. So you can tell the students are really applying to a lot of schools. We did send over 1,600 letters of recommendation. Shout out to those top 5 teachers. It always impresses me that they write that many letters. And we have Jackie Ritter right here, number 3 with 80 letters. I just think it's amazing that they're able to do that, and sometimes in a really, really short amount of time, depending on when the students request it. So a couple stats about the class of 2019. Every class looks a little bit different, but this year, as far as where they're headed after spring forward, it's pretty much on par with last year. We're a little bit up in the 4-year college attendance rate, a little bit up in 2-year college attendance rate, 6% for employed and 2% for military. A new stat that I thought that you guys would enjoy was the major breakdown. You know, what are they actually going into? And I was blown away by that 41% in STEM. Keep in mind that's a lot of health careers too. A lot of students thinking pre-med, nursing, physical therapy, occupational therapy. They're really blowing up with our classes. But we still have a high percentage of business and undecided right there at top 3. So we're hoping that with more exposure, you know, it's still okay to go in undecided, but we want them to know what's out there so that they can be a little bit more well-informed when they get into college and are picking those majors. Going the distance, we have a lot of kids going out into the Midwest. I was kind of surprised by that. A lot of, always the Southeast. Everybody loves Florida. A couple on the West Coast still. So we do have students really branching out, which I think is exciting to see, but our top 5 is the same, just in a little bit of a different order. And you'll see Penn State up there. That's really only main campus, so we're sending a lot of kids to Penn State. But great school, so kudos to them. And then a few highly selective acceptances we get every year. This year we had a UVA Jefferson Scholar, which was the first year for that, so that was exciting to see up there. And then, of course, Hopkins, Bucknell, UPenn, MIT, we always like to see those names up there too. So a couple of really good schools. Our students, I felt like this year did not want to report how much merit scholarship money they got as much as they did last year, but that's still a pretty big number for not a lot of them reporting. So I'm still proud of that number, just shy of that 3 million mark. And then we've got 7 full tuition or full ride scholarships on the table, whether it's merit or athletic money. So that's a really great thing to see too. New this year, we had a couple things. So we've done the Financial Reality Fair before, but Andrew Rothermel actually helped us put together a pretty great video for the Financial Reality Fair. So if you have not seen that and you're curious as to what that looks like, you should definitely check that video out. The student feedback is just phenomenal from that program. I just love seeing them come out of it and say, oh my gosh, so what's the trick here? How do I make money? So go talk to the financial advisors. But then we also have a new video that we did on dual enrollment and advanced placement. Some of you may know that that night was snowed out, so we created this video, and it's been pretty well received. We'll probably keep going with that program next year, but it's nice to have that as a supplement to the program as well. And then a couple more new things that we had going on. I mentioned that micro-credentialing day. That was really exciting. And I just have some pictures from some of the other field trips. You can see bottom left corner was Manifest, where they were learning about different manufacturing companies. So there's a little bit of robotics, a little bit of construction. The kids loved all the free giveaways. You can see the construction hat up there. Top right was from Johnson & Johnson. So they actually got to drill into a fake bone and put screws in and stuff. So again, it was really hands-on. I think they really got a lot out of it. And we also have a new job board outside of our room, so students can come by, and it's a variety of different things, whether you're looking for a part-time job, summer job, or a career. There's a lot of internships up there, apprenticeships, making sure that that information is out there for the students. Previously, we put all this stuff online, and it was kind of hard to gauge how many students were actually reached with it. What's really cool about this is there's slips of paper in there, so I know when all the papers are gone, students are actually seeing it, and they really are disappearing. So I know that kids are walking by and they're picking them up, and I hope that they are taking advantage of some of those. I know we do have a student who's working with the intermediate unit this year. She got one of those internships, and it's a great opportunity. She's working with an environmental agency in human resources this summer. So we have some students doing some really cool stuff. And that is, I think, everything I have. Does anyone have any questions about what we did this year?
So it was kind of a quiet year.
Just a little bit.
Do we have a percentage breakdown of students, you know, of the class? I know it's always tough to know exactly, but like how many are going into college, how many are going to trade, how many are going to military and then into the workforce?
Yeah, that was on there.
I missed it.
I can go back. That's okay. We'll swing back. So 73% in 4 years. So it was 72% last year, so really close. And 19% to 2 year, that actually went up a little bit. That was about 17% last year. 6% employed, 2% military. That 2 year one could be trades or community college.
Great.
Can you break down the STEM
I could get that to you afterwards. It's hard because all of these different majors have different names depending on the college they're going to, whether it's pre-physical therapy or, I don't want to say they make things up, but they title them all different things. So I could try and break it down a little bit for you after the meeting, but I know a high percentage of that is going into the health fields, whether it's physical therapy, occupational therapy, nursing, or pre-med. But we are seeing a lot of kids going engineering too.
The 2.7, that's just scholarship for academic, when you put the 2.7?
That's just academic, yeah. We didn't list the athletic scholarship money.
So, and the reason I wanted to go back to that was because that number, which has grown over the last several years, which is great, but that number was one of the driving forces behind why we started the whole decision day to begin with, because there was always this major emphasis on students, which is great, don't get me wrong, but students that are getting different type of invites or scholarships, to go play athletics. And I could be wrong, but I don't believe the athletic scholarships come anywhere near what we're seeing academic-wise.
It is not. No, I do have that number somewhere on my computer also that I could get to you.
And I don't want to downplay, and that's fine. I just wanted to point out, because that was one of the main reasons, because our students are doing, awesome, amazing things, and they're being rewarded for, $2.7 million in scholarships, and that's been going up. And I get that you want, we're going to hit that 3 million mark. That's only, and I'm sure we're probably closer than you think.
I'm sure we did. A lot of kids chose not to report. Like when I was going through the surveys, there were kids that I know got scholarship money that did not list it on their surveys. But I can only really put on here what was reported.
That's fair. And that's, but if you just, I would say there's probably safe to say that there's probably over $3 million in scholarships.
Most likely.
Which is awesome for.
And this is only for the schools that they accepted to go to.
Right.
So there are students who did turn down some pretty big scholarships.
Right, or they could get that. You're right. They'll get multiple scholarships from
Yes.
different schools, and then they finally decide which way they want to go. And
Yes.
so $2.7 million is pretty impressive. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
So one of the things this year that I thought was maybe a little bit, I don't know if a little bit better, but maybe I just tuned into it a little bit more, was at some of the banquets, and I think specifically it was the music banquet that I was really kind of intrigued by. The schools that the kids are going to, there's definitely more variety, some of the more distinguished schools that have that up there, and the Penn Staters are not all. A lot of them are main campus, over and over. It's tough to get in.
It is tough to get in.
Their requirements are to get in. And there were a large number of students that were going to Westchester, Villanova, and some of the really big schools. And if you're saying that that's the money for the schools that they had
They're going to.
there was probably a ton more out there, money-wise, that they were offered.
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
Definitely, yeah. They had a lot of, and there were some students who had some really, really hard decisions to make because of the types of schools they got into and the amount of money they were receiving from other schools. So it's a good problem to have. Yeah. Yes.
Well, I mean, Colleen, you raise a great point, because a few years ago, when you looked at the map of where we were going student-wise, it was all kind of like a very tight cluster of colleges compared to the last couple of years where, I mean, we're just all
We're
across the
spread
country.
out,
And
yeah.
I know that we brought this up many years ago about, at least being somewhat more of a participant in the Ivy League schools. And not necessarily the kids are going to, but we are getting more and more students that are applying or looking at it. And even, I think we've had at least one in the last 4 or 5 years, at least one student go to an Ivy League school or a military, academy, which I guess is considered Ivy League, but at least one a year or so, and that's great. I mean, so we are hitting every different, all ends of the spectrum as far as, trade school, college, universities, so that's great. That's really great. You guys are doing an awesome job.
Thank you. And we push for that. One pathway is not the right way for every student. We want them to find the right pathway for themselves. And with our program growing so much, I do want to make sure that I say thank you for helping to approve having a secretary for our room. That will do wonders. Hopefully we'll be able to add some more stuff in the coming years with that help. So thank you very much.
And, I just wanted to touch the other thing Colleen was talking about, when we went to the different banquets and you hear the music banquet or the academic achievement banquet, when you listen to our students, where they're going to school and the majors that they're choosing, they're just, we have phenomenal students. And,
Yeah.
and I know as a district and a board, we're very proud of that. We have great administration, we have great teachers, that are making this happen, and we're providing the best opportunity. And that's been our goal as a board all along, is to provide that, raise that bar for our students and provide that opportunity. And they're having, great opportunities to go to, whatever path they choose. So, this is awesome.
One of the other
Andrew's not gonna. Can you hear me? Was the engineering, and that's another thing, like Mr. DeBell just said, when the kids were calling out their majors and what they're going to study, engineering over and over and over.
I do hear it a lot.
I did hear it a lot too, and all the different kinds of engineering, chemical engineering, this engineering, that engineering. So that was really good, and it also made me think about our pathway here that we have. I wonder how many of our students have gone into the engineering here. And that has led to that? Has that piqued their interest in that?
If they are in that program, I would say a very high percentage of them are going into engineering, but we have lots of kids who are not in that program going into engineering. It's one of those fields where we're seeing that there's a high percentage of jobs available. It's a great market for it. And the kids are tech savvy. They're not as afraid of it, and I think they're jumping in, and we're seeing more girls do it, which I think is awesome. So I don't think they're as afraid of it as maybe they were a few years ago, but it's not just, I think that program definitely helps. It gives those kids a niche, but I think we see a lot of people in senior year just deciding, I think I might do engineering, and not really know why.
It's great to see that they're embracing it.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Well, and it's funny, Colleen, that you asked that question because, during our curriculum meetings, when we had the business folks in, one of the things they shared with us is how few of the students who are taking business they saw in the dual enrollment courses, right? So it's the same sort of double-edged sword of how are they going to fill their schedule, and we talk about this constantly in curriculum. How are they going to fill their schedule to take the best advantages of the opportunities that are offered? And that's a struggle with every single student that walks through the store, with the opportunities that we have available, and how to make the most of every one of those. So I think that it is a tough balance, but you two ladies do an absolutely fantastic job in that future planning center, and these numbers continue to get more incredible, and the different schools that you're touching, the number might be the same, but the schools that are coming in are also different. So don't sell yourselves short on that, because I know that sometimes you'll see them one year, but maybe not invite them back and go seek other opportunities. So even though that number, as you said, might be the same, who those schools are is oftentimes very different. So thank you for continuing to seek out opportunities for these kids to have the exposure to many different schools.
Thank you. All right.
Just last thing is, one of the things that we're going to be looking at as a board that we've talked about that goes beyond the dual enrollment. We've been talking about this where, other high schools have provided opportunities for students to actually go to college while they're in high school.
Sure.
And they, in some instances, by the time they graduate high school, they're close to having an associate degree. And we're going to be looking at that closer and figuring out how we could expand the dual enrollment. And so this may be something that, because I thought there was a little window in there of free time when you put up your slide of stuff that you're doing. And I want to,
Exactly.
They're going to get the free time with the new
person.
But
Hopefully.
it's something that, as we expand this out, explore this out further, this may be something
Sure.
that you'll be able to help us with a little bit as well.
There have been some students who have done that very successfully. So it is a great program. It is a little costly because you can't get financial aid for it typically. So that's a hurdle for some families, but I'm sure that it's a great fit for a lot of them, so.
Well, and I think that, again, this is something that, it's not for us to figure out the financial part of it for the student, but it's for us to try to figure out how could we make it happen? Because I think there may be more students that would take advantage of it if it was in place compared to not. So again, we're not gonna resolve it tonight. I'm just saying that this is something that we're gonna be looking at, over the next couple months.
Yeah, and it is something that we advertise during our AP dual enrollment night. I think we have 3 or 4 kids doing it next year,
Yeah.
but I think it's for a unique student.
Right.
But certainly, yeah, we would definitely help to advertise it more, make sure they know it's out there.
And it's a lot of it's putting the steps together and what does the parent or what does the student have to do to actually go down that path. And I think, and it probably is available. It's just how do we get it out there? And, because people ask me all the time about it, and I say, well, we're looking into it. So it's something that, when we come back from the summer break, that we'll probably
Sure, yeah.
dive in deeper. So great. Well, thank you very much. You guys, as always, did an awesome job. And the Academic Achievement Awards night, you guys rocked. I mean, you went through that and you kept it moving, and so it was a great night as well.
Good.
So
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to thank you guys because as a student, I know firsthand how helpful you guys are. So I just wanted to say thank you for everything and your hard work and dedication. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you too as I test this mic. Is it on? No. Okay. I thought I heard something and then. I'm on this tonight.
Sound like it. All right. This is something that we've been waiting to hear about. This is exciting. Our student ambassador update from our student reps.
Yes, so we do have our student ambassadors. You guys can come up and stand right here. I will let them introduce themselves to you. Can we borrow your microphone? Yes. Okay, so you can go first.
Hi, I'm Mishka Seth.
Hi, I'm Anshika Gupta.
I'm Jessica Wosak.
I'm Rita Hamid.
I'm Alyssa Corpolis.
I'm Kylie Cabot.
So, as you guys know, we did have an interview and application process for them, and they all filled out the application and interviewed with me, Nandini, Dr. Nugent, and Dr. Rupert. And we still have the upcoming freshmen and the upcoming sophomores that we have to look over their applications and still interview them. But so far, we just wanted to announce who we have so far just to show you how the program is going to be. We're very excited, so thank you for everything.
And what's the total number we're trying to have on
So
board?
we're going for 10 or 12. We were thinking 12 since me and Ishika are the reps. That's 2 more. So we're thinking around 12.
That's great because probably when the school year starts, you're going to have many duties. I think you guys are going to get tapped a lot, which is exciting. Yes. And hopefully we'll have all the blazers in place by then. But, one of the things that we're going to be talking about also is when we open up the expansion, having, some type of planned tours or whatever, and that would be a great, again, opportunity for our student ambassadors to lead the way on that as well. So this is exciting. This was a great idea. I'm thrilled with how fast it's moving and how it's going to be in place, for the start of the school year. And as the first group, you guys are going to do an awesome job and set the path for, many, many years to come. So congratulations for kicking this off for us.
Thank you.
Okay, committee reports, curriculum and technology.
Okay, we actually just met on the 12th in the district office, so I'm reading off of my notes because I've had a little bit of a busy week. So we started out with good news. We actually have a junior by the name of Anthony Zagmut, who will be attending Duke University this summer for the high school student in Accelerated STEM Academy. There were over 100 teachers also honored at our Senior Impact Awards. This is the first time we've had a student attend this Duke University Summer Academy, so it'll be really interesting to get Anthony's feedback once he returns. We had our final presentation in the last 2 years. We've had every department head come in, and the last one came in this past session, and that was Mr. Zaper for PE, and he provided us with lots of information, and again, those slides will be shared with the minutes. We went over many items that were approved, including level literacy intervention for RTII for grades K to 2. We also approved these items going onto the agenda, which include the virtual high school contract renewal through the IU. We have an item on the approval for something called Go Pebble, and this is through the elementary library, and this is an online database for grades K to 2 that works in conjunction with ELA, social studies, and the library curriculums. We also approved that Smart Futures be added to the agenda, and this is something that will help tie program 339 all together. As Mrs. Bass explained to us in the meeting, she literally had to go and meet with every single person in different buildings to capture how we met up with all of the requirements for Act 339. We also got updates from our ELA and math, which included that training took place for FCS, health, and PE, as well as 10th grade social studies for the new curriculum and new resource materials. Mrs. Gardy is continuing to work on Title I, II, and IV programming grants, and it looks like we're going to be losing some additional funding in that area. And we had some discussions about what that means and shifting of resources and things of that nature. But this is something that we need to obviously keep an eye on as we lose funding in this area. We also talked about training that was attended, free training that was attended by this group. In math, we talked about the gearing up for the new K-4 resource and that the delivery of the manipulatives have been received and they're working on getting those out. We also talked about a grant from the state for training for new tech tools to spend grant money on this year, and that's being attended by our RamQuest teachers as well as Mrs. Rockland to determine how to spend some funding that we could potentially get. On the technology side, we talked about the plan for the new phone system that was approved, and deployment is scheduled for August with training to take place during that time frame to make sure that everything is up and running and in place beginning the new school year. On modernized learning front, we talked about the website being up to date and it's being deployed. We also talked about computer deployment taking place on 3 separate nights at the 9th grade center for the incoming 9th grade class. Technology also had some agenda items, which included the BSGI contract, and that is the support system for access control to the maintenance and the door systems. The registration gateway is also on the agenda for approval, as well as the Raptor contract renewal for software, which is our visitor monitoring system, and the Touchpoint contract, which is for our new time clocks, which we tried to get away with a cheaper way. It didn't work, so we're going with this new system, which will hopefully fix any and all issues with that. Our next meeting is scheduled for September 3rd in the district office at 6:30. And Linda also talked about being part of the STEP program ceremony where business workers with our business, work with our students, and companies were there to honor our kids, and how much of a great program that is to see our students involved in. And that was about it, and it was actually Mrs. Best's last curriculum meeting, so we thanked her for all of her hard work in the last 6 years that she's been with us. So, any questions?
Okay, community relations.
I'm going to go with this mic for community relations. And so we met tonight at 6:30 for a brief meeting before the executive session. During our brief meeting, we discussed new sponsorship opportunities that will be available this coming school year on the McNelly scoreboard. So this is something that we're going to work hard on to try to offset the cost of that board. And please look for more detailed information as it becomes available. And that scoreboard will be installed over the summer. We also talked about the upcoming in-community publication. It will be sent to all Springford residents in October of 2019. That will be the first edition of the in-community publication. It will be in print, and then it will be followed by 3 additional publications that will be digital for a total of 4 publications in a 1-year time period. So we will be covering different things like back to school, holiday concerts, end of year information. All of that will be wrapped into the in-community. So please stay tuned for more details on that as well. And again, October 2019 is the planned date for the first release. Also, we touched briefly on the Pennsboro Awards that were given out this year. Andrew received an Excellence Award for his spotlight on the Innovation Center, his video there. And Aaron Crew also was in the recipient of honors awards for both the Springford Area School District Instagram and the Springford Board Notes newsletter. So congratulations for those awards also, and for those publications. They're great. We talked briefly about parent speakers, and I know Ms. Crow is working on lining those up for next year. We will meet again next October, since we're on a bi-monthly basis with extracurricular, and that about sums it up. Thank you. Have any questions on that? Okay, thanks.
Okay, Finance met June 11th at the district office. As always, we started off the meeting reviewing the monthly reports. Because we're coming to end of school year budget. Everything is tracking exceptionally well. We've done an excellent job as far as budgeting. The couple areas that there's all our funds coming in from the state have been received, except for retirement, which always comes 2 quarters behind, which basically will come fiscal Q3. Which will then get backdated to our budgeting for the 2018-19 school year. Even though real estate taxes started off slightly slower this year, we covered the coverages in transfer taxes, and so we're doing very well there. All other local revenue is basically on track, and our budget is looking very well. We're going to probably end the year with somewhere between a $500,000 to $800,000 surplus. That is mainly due to a couple things. One is that, well, we knew there was going to be a slight surplus because we always budget our funds that come from the state from the previous year, because when we approve our budget, we never know what the state's going to do, so we have to be more conservative and use numbers that we know we're definitely getting. The other is that our health care, our staff had a great year as far as staying healthy, which we're all very excited about. And also, there's been a little uptakes in some of the transfers and the earned income tax and all that, so it's not to be expected as far as having some of a surplus, so we're happy about that. We are looking forward to our food services project. We also are seeing about 2,300 meals are lower than the previous year, but with all the changes that we're planning with the start of the new school year and contracting out with Aramark, I believe that we'll start to see a big turnaround in school lunches throughout the 19-20 school year. And as you know, talking with Mr. Fink and staff, everything is still on target with making those changes in the cafeteria. As far as change orders from the high school expansion, I'll talk about this at property update, but there's about a $60,000 to $80,000 change order, which we discussed as well. Other than that, everything looks good. We're financially stable. We're very happy with you know, the state of the district. So I think Mr. Fink and his staff are doing an amazing job. It's a large budget. There's a lot of moving parts, but you know, running at a slight surplus is always better than a deficit. So, you know, great job there as well. Any questions? Let me just switch over here.
Does this mean there's no tax increase?
No.
Excuse me.
Okay, property met right after finance, June 11th. Again, major projects we reviewed is the high school expansion. I talked about the change order. There was a change to the flooring. The floor that was spec'd out was not going to, it wasn't the right way to go. There's some concerns about the design of the floor, the ability to clean the floor, keep it clean. So the recommendation from administration was to go with a more durable, more seamless floor that's going to be put in place. The recommendation is that we move forward with that, and the project itself is on target to be completed by the end of July. We have one slight holdup, which the elevator car is on back order. You know, you always have to, you know, rely on suppliers, unfortunately, and from time to time you get screwed by a supplier. But the elevator car itself, although Robert Hunter is pushing extremely hard to get that elevator car in place, it won't stop from us actually utilizing the facilities. The only thing that we won't be able to use in the event that the elevator car is not brought in time is that we'll just have to close off the mezzanine level of the athletic side of the expansion. But the hope is by, correct me if I'm wrong, Robert, by September-ish is the latest that we're anticipating. Okay, so because the mics are out for some reason, to repeat what Mr. Hunter said, that we're shooting for delivery date before school opens, and you know, and we'll continue to push on that, and hopefully by later this week or early next week we'll have more of a specific date for the project. So thank you. Then we did talk about the Ram Stadium change from the glorified porta potty system to public sewer. The system itself, the run to sewer lines and the ejector pump is slightly higher than we originally anticipated. We thought we'd be able to tap into the sewer line and use the existing pump that we have in place, but there was concern related to capacity utilizing that, so it's been engineered to actually run the line further up and have a pump, its own pump into the sewer line. We're waiting to get finalized numbers. We put on the agenda this evening, just from an information standpoint, that we put a not to exceed number, but Mr. Hunter will have a more definite number by our board meeting next Monday. Few summer projects. I'm not going to get into the list of summer projects that are going on, but everything is moving forward. I went through that list before, so there's nothing really there. We did have an update from our school police and emergency management. There was a lot of prep that was underway for graduation and emergency operations. I'm going to take this opportunity. I see Dr. Nugent still here. I want to say that graduation night was phenomenal. It was well-planned, well-orchestrated, well-executed. 575 students or 574 students, an hour and a half from start to finish, which was great. So job well done once again to you and all your staff and administration. What I won't get into the details, but I will say from a community standpoint, with Chief Boyer being on board, the number of security things that we put in place and working with the other municipalities was amazing. And what was so amazing about it was that it was so part of what was going on that I don't even believe many people even realized what we had in place, which is great. So to have such a large event of probably 5,000 to 6,000 people plus students and all that, to have such an event and be able to have all that in place and have it so that it didn't look like it was I'll say military zone or whatever, was amazing. But the crowd itself and the students and all that were so well protected that was just amazing. But like I said, I don't want to get into the details because there was a lot of things that were going on that the community was not even aware of. So that was part of the prep for graduation. There's other drills that are continually going on. The ALICE evaluation drill, Stop the Bleed. The Springford Police are continually having their firearms training. We talked about the stadium camera project being completed. Chief Boyer and his team are continually working with the secretary staff and the 12-month employees, establishing guidelines on emergency events and some other topics. And they started the interview process for the 3 additional officers that were approved in the budget. The new police vehicle has arrived and it's in service. And they're also looking at other things like signage, fencing, doors, glass treatments, et cetera, throughout the district to continue to make changes from a security standpoint. So that's pretty much it. There's going to be 2 action items on the agenda: the approval of the Ram Stadium water sewer project, and also administration recommends approval for the purchase and installation of cameras and intercoms at 9 exterior locations and 11 interior buildings, festive use throughout the district. So they're going to be on the agenda for approval as well. Any questions? Great. Assistant Superintendent report.
Thank you. For my final Assistant Superintendent report, I will do my best to keep it short and to the point. Thank you. No. Simply just thank you to everyone at Springford and in the community. 8 years ago, I showed up at Springford not knowing anyone, and in a short time have formed many lifelong professional and personal relationships that mean so much to me. I've had the privilege of working alongside Mrs. Lease as we interview the finalists for all of our teaching positions. And time after time, the candidates ask us, what is so special about Springford? And that's the easiest question they can ask. It's the people, from the support staff, the secretaries, the teachers, the substitutes, the students, the custodians, our curriculum and instruction staff, counselors, human resources, our families, our maintenance, technology staff, facilities, food service, business office, special education instructional assistants, school police, Mark Fitzgerald, communications, marketing and media, transportation, principals, supervisors, directors, Dr. Gooden, and our school board, simply awesome people. So I hope that the people that I've worked with will look back and see the positive impact of all of our collaborative work and effort, and that those accomplishments and programs continue in the future. As with any transition, I am sure I will soon be known and considered previous administration for any excuses or future struggles, but I know I did my best to set everyone up for success. Springford is a great place, and I'm lucky to have served here for the past 8 years. Thank you.
Are we supposed to put this aside us every meeting, or what's the?
I will.
Whatever you need. That's our own.
Photoshopped? You look very thin in this picture.
That's what the camera angle does.
Yeah. Well done. Dr. Roach, unfortunately, I will be in Sacramento next week, so I won't be at your last meeting. So I will take this opportunity to thank you for all your hard work over the 8 years or so that you've been with us. I mean, we kind of came on together. Well, I was probably about a year ahead of you, but we built this district. You're a part of that, building it towards the success of the district that we are today. You're an amazing assistant superintendent. I've seen you grown way, over the years, and I don't know if I'll ever have the opportunity to dance with another assistant superintendent. But obviously, you and your wonderful wife made Dancing with the Stars a fun event as well. I do know that maybe not, I haven't talked to most of the board, but from time to time, is it all right if your wife still comes to visit us? Because, we always see, we do. We tolerated you because you have such a wonderful wife, and she put up with a lot over the years with your dedication to Springford, and and we appreciate that as well. What's that? Oh, and the children, and she was showing me pictures the other night. I can't believe how much they've grown since, the time that you've been here. So the great thing is you're only a stone throw away, and I do have my calendar, August 8th. I probably will now have something to bring with me. But yeah, absolutely. Save, put reserve on that first row. So again, thank you for everything that you've done, and we look forward to continually working with you, since you're going to be a neighbor of ours anyway. And at Western. And yeah, at the Western, and there probably will be that rare opportunity that Springford may lose one game of something to to Upper Perk, but it could happen. But anyway, it'll be exciting to see you in your new role. So thank you for everything. Okay, solicitor's report.
Oh, very briefly, we are waiting for the school code bill because we're waiting for the omnibus package that will come with a spending plan by our fair state legislature. There will be compromise charter school bills. Right now it looks like it's in an a la carte approach. There's going to be changes here, changes there. I don't think this is a wholesale change to the charter school law. I know that PSBA was, how do I want to put it? I guess in a red scare or red alert about a week ago in terms of what the bills were looking like coming out of the House. They've made some modifications, but it's not the charter school bills I'm so much concerned about the bills that we don't know about that will come. Last year, for instance, there was a provision that was added to the school code as relates to procurement and having to have public hearings if we're to outsource unionized staff. That came out of complete left field. So we will get nuggets from the school code over the next 2 weeks that we'll have to sift through. So we'll keep you posted.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, any questions? Meeting minutes, A and B. Personnel, A through N. Finance, A through H. Property, A and B. Programming and curriculum, A through L. Conferences and workshops, A through C. Other business, A through E. Any board comment?
Yeah, I would like to say it is Mrs. Bass' last meeting tonight. She will not be here tonight. So again, even though I said it in my curriculum report, I'd like to again thank you for the hard work that you've put in. Believe it or not, in the 6 years that she's been here, we've reviewed all curriculum and done a lot of aligning. And we now have a modernized learning initiative in place that is second to none within, I would venture to say at least the state. So thank you for all of your hard work and dedication, and also will be continuing to work with us as she moves on to the IU and is only a stone's throw away. So thank you for all you've done as well.
Yes, I'd like to concur with that, and thank you for tolerating all my badgering during all the curriculum and technology meetings. Thank you for tolerating my badgering during all the curriculum and technology meetings and other conversations we've had outside of the meetings, and wish you the best of luck.
And I see Mrs. Choi's here, and I got the opportunity to go to a home and school meeting in Spring City early in the school year, and I was really, thought it was great how enthusiastic she was at that meeting, and I think that she'll be a great addition as a permanent principal at Spring City. And the second thing is that I've been asked this question many times as to why does Springford have a full day on the last day of school, unlike many other districts. So I don't know if there's a good reason why we do that. I know we've always done it that way, which isn't always the best reason, but is there any real reason why you do it that way?
There is. We can't schedule a half day into our calendar because what that does is it opens the door for every other private school that we ship to do half days that we have to transport for.
Every other, like many districts in the area do it, so how do they?
I understand. We ship to over 100 private schools. So as soon as we put it in our calendar, a half day, then they can put it in their calendar at a half day, and we have to transport.
For every half day that they have,
Yes.
Dr. Gooden? Or
Correct.
just one?
No. It opens the door. We've kept that door closed for years. So yes, we'd love to send them home half day though.
I also want to, Ms. Bass, it's been 6 years? Wow. It seemed like it was just last year you got here. Yeah, time flies when you're having fun, right? You as well have done an awesome job with our director of curriculum. There was many things over that 6-year period I can't even sit here and list out that we were able to accomplish. You know, and the new programs that we rolled out seamlessly without a lot of issues. So you did an excellent job, and and all your participation and help with the modernized learning, which was a huge project, and the hybrid learning, and all the different things over the years. So everything that you've done has been greatly appreciated, and I also thank you for putting up with Ed. It's never easy, but you've done it with poise, and we appreciate that. So, and I look forward to seeing you at the IU. So maybe I shouldn't have said where you're going, but I don't. I think you'll be a great addition there as well. So I look forward to seeing you there.
And since I'm not going to be here next week, I would like to also piggyback on what Mr. Dennert said with Mrs. Choi. I'm excited that you will be leading this school. It is a wonderful opportunity. I had the privilege of working with Mrs. Choi her very first year here with my oldest student when she was a third grade teacher, and she has been phenomenal in every position that she's been put in, and has helped the curriculum department as the math coach, and worked to really gain the confidence of the teachers and to work with them to help us even more. And so now to be the advocate this year and to going forward be the advocate for all those students is going to be a great experience for us. So I wish you all the best, and I know you're going to do great things in Spring City. Thank you.
Okay. So congratulations to all of you. One other thing kind of off topic that I just want to bring up is that our former colleague and current state rep, Mr. Cerisi, did contact me and let me know that he is working on 3 bills about revisions to charter schools and wanting to have a school board presence in making those determining factors about the charter schools and the funding. So he just asked me to bring it up and to let everybody know that he continues to work hard for education in the state and, of course, for Spring Forward. So I thought I'd let you know that. And just one final word to Dr. Roach. I wouldn't have done use of facilities with anybody else, so thank you.
So everybody said great stuff about you, Sue, so obviously you got to take the position now. You can't back out, right? So you had your year in transition at Spring City. Did you enjoy it? Yeah. You can come up to the mic if you want, because I'm going to put you on the spot.
It was an absolute joy and pleasure. I'm just grateful for the opportunity to call Spring City my home and work with the staff, the students, and the families. It's an amazing place and part of this amazing district, so thank you.
I do want to say before you sneak away, Spring City's been, it's over the years it had its up and down as far as student population. So when it was the down years in student population, we went more with the approach of, the dual principal where Mr. Mitch Edmonds was over at Limerick, and then he, would also help out and deal with issues over at Spring City, because enrollment at the time didn't make sense for us to have a full-time, building principal. As we start to see the enrollment going up, and then we asked, you had the opportunity to go and take Spring City over. And I will tell you, as like Mr. Denner said, I've only heard amazing things from the parents in Spring City as far as how thrilled they were with having you come into the school and really make it your home. And really, the community I know in Spring City is very, very welcoming, and I know that they're going to be even more welcoming as they know that you're going to be there permanently as the building principal. So I look forward to you doing amazing things in Spring City as well. So thank you for everything that you've done. I would have said that next week, but I'm going to be in Sacramento. All right, any other board comment? Public to be heard on agenda item? Or no, we did that earlier. Public to be heard. Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn? All in favor, say aye. Aye, meeting adjourned.